God damn it, fuck. Okay. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Hello everybody. For starters, I'd just like to rip the band-aid and apologize for not making a lot of content on SGM or hell interviews. These 2 years certainly feeling like 2020 part 2 with everything that happened in this year alone, but I decided to come back from my ghostly nap and make this video. But if you recall, I made a video a while back rambling about the state of the game and my concerns. A lot has happened since then, so I decided to piece together a timeline of everything from mid-March until now. I'll be doing a bit of a rapid-fire rundown based on what I can remember, so bear with me since this is all just one take, no cuts, just reading a raw script, you know. So let's start at the beginning of the end for HBS, level 0. It all started with the controversial guest star patch. The community was split. Some players gave hidden variable studios the benefit of the doubt, seeing guest stars as a fun gimmick to power up their favorite units. Others argued that they were far too expensive and needed a rework, and that infamous $400 offer in the shop, holy shit. Plus, their stats threatened to completely change the Rift meta. Like, a lot of players managed to get like, well, who was it, like Lemon Jelly's 202% HP Sands, that shit was nasty, you know? Then on March 5th, HBS announced they were stepping down from developing both the mobile and second Encore versions of Skullgirls. Some on Twitter celebrated due to HBS's history with censorship, while others in the community were deeply concerned, including myself. The game had gone all of February with no news, and then we got this bombshell of a update. And let's go to part 2, and mind you, this is something I haven't told anybody besides my camp, and this is more like a behind the scenes tidbit. Before we knew about the lawsuit or hell HBS stepping down, I was working on a content cop style video exposing what I saw as HBS's terrible updates. I had evidence stacked up to the moon about their mediocre updates and lack of communication. But when they stepped down and the power transitioned to Autumn Games, I felt stuck. I talked with my homies who contributed to the project, and we decided to hold it off. Because if I dropped that video then, it would have looked like I was supporting Autumn's complete takeover, and I didn't want to take sides during that time. I was just watching everything unfold. So I decided to reach out to Autumn directly on March 6, the day after they took over. They were active on the Discord, and I was surprisingly connected with Tim and then Bruce, 2 key members of Autumn. It seemed like they were doing a meet and greet of sorts, or planning to, with the community, including Melon and other close friends of mine. But after that initial talk, it was just crickets, bro. I was hoping to get them in the hot seat of sorts, like a Q&A, you know, but it never materialized. However, I will remain stubborn until Bruce gets on call with me and we have a talk. No offense, man, just come on and just do it, bro. Like, it's been far too long. Then things got even messier. News broke out that HBS was suing Autumn for $1.2 million, alleging terrible sweatshop treatment as well as not paying them for the second time. And to top it all off, I got reached out by the handler and Melon, and they were telling me more stuff about the behind the scenes of Autumn's takeover and how HBS was doing playtesting. But I'll link those videos down below if you want the exact details of what went down during that era. So I'll just put those down below in the description if you guys want to just check it out. On March 30th, Autumn's transition to power was fucking ass. There were no official patch notes. Instead, the information first came from a Discord mod. ZZTV, how do you say that? ZZTV 3 underscores, fuck it. A Discord mod got that information first before anybody. And he made a YouTube video about it, and many others were fucking pissed, even me, bro. Like, how did a moderator of all people get this before the community? And I made a tweet calling it out, and I had to wake up Bruce from the DMs and say, yo bro, that ain't right. Get out here and make a post publicly. You're not supposed to give that information to just one person, you should be giving it out to everybody, you know? And in that patch note, they were mentioning they were adding pass exclusive units to the general diamond pool for that month, as well as adding more exclusive pass units to the normal pool as well too, you know? And around this time, I accidentally became a leaker. A user named Muffindo, shout out to them, sent me the data mined from the developer console during maintenance because a lot of people had access to it. Even others were surprised, like, holy shit, like how are you this bad that your own maintenance mode has access to the developer console for some players? And it was surprising, and obviously Fulbly took advantage of that and decided to make several tweets. Oh, he was making mad tweets during that time, just talking shit about Autumn, like they were calling them straight evil. And at some point Bruce made an out-of-pocket Elon joke and dog got clowned off there. Holy shit, I'm done. I apologize, it was just a random cough. But shit. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, like, when they took over, the entire second Encore server absolutely dogpiled on Bruce and Tim, basically calling them out for their malpractice of not paying $1.2 million to HBS. And while Bruce was trying to play like the friendly middleman, you know, they absolutely clowned his ass for making just one joke, which wasn't really that great, to be honest. Let's be real. So Autumn focused solely on mobile for that time. They announced a new game mode, guilds, but it felt like history repeating itself. Big announcements, no solid updates, and they even disabled comments on that video. Guilds were delayed again and again, and honestly, we still have no idea where they're gonna be coming. Hell, the roadmap they released was even more vague, not offering a clear picture, which I rightfully called out, reminding them in a tweet which I made about Autumn having a bad history with not them paying HBS, as well as a $14 million loan in 2012. Like, god damn, it's bad. Like, these are the same people who are managing the game, so it was concerning for those who were aware of the reputation of Autumn, while they had the power over the Skullgirls IP. So let's transition into the part 4, the good, the bad, and fucking hell, the expensive, I guess. Now let's rapid fire the changes Autumn has actually implemented. They used a website hub of mobile for news, patch notes, and a brand new sword they added, since the old forums had no form of access to post any news or patch notes, so that basically became almost a ghost town, which I occasionally see activity there. They expanded the Cabinet of Curiosity shop, but controversially changed its refresh timer from not 1 hour, and they made it to 8 hours, and then they forced them to change it to 4 hours at the end. And they added like a Theonite type as well, which I doubt anybody uses. During that time as well, there was like a weird text glitch that made the English font look like a Russian font for a good while, so that was fun, I guess. They changed the conversion shop, increasing prices, but also increasing rewards. A change a lot of people felt that ruined the conversion economy, because back then it was like 16,000 Theonite. Now it's like over 2,000, but you get a little bit more. A lot of people argue if this is like a good change or a bad change. I'd see this as a bad change because people are so used to the consistency of like 16,000 Theonite for like 1.2 or 1.3 million coins. So it kind of ruined a lot of people's flow of the game, you know? And they've done a lot of surprisingly consistent monthly unit reworks. There has been like monthly reworks month per month, like for a lot of units, which is pretty cool actually. And they added a lot of former pass exclusive units to the normal relic pool, obviously, you know. And they actually changed the battle pass as well. They added a $20 pass extension, letting you skip 10 levels and go up to level 75, which gives you more relics at the end of the day if you just want to get more units out of that monthly. Congratulations, you got them, you know. And they also added more quality of life changes and bugs fixing. Like, what was like the one quality of life change? Like, it was like the send all gifts kind of thing, and the conversions. I don't know if the conversions was like an older thing, but it was more or less the send all feature, which was okay, but it was so mediocre, you know. But arguably their best change was Fortune's Favor, a brilliant pity system that lets you choose 5 golds and 5 diamond variants to focus on. After 100 premier relics, you're guaranteed one of your chosen diamonds. This was a massive win for the community. Shit, remember Kevin when he dropped the Black Dollar collab? I remember that shit. He fucking retired, making no content from the game. And that dude came back to try it out. Like, what the fuck? Sure, he's not making content on the game altogether, but seeing him in the game is also a good sign of things to come, you know? Even if it's just like a tinge of hope. So, it's a win, you know? So, where the fuck are we now? It's a strange limbo. Like, it's really weird. Like, you managed to beat the clock, but you're still in this weird state where, like, it's good, but it's also not that good. Like, the current developers are doing the work, you know, monthly tuning, adding new features, and they clearly cared about the mobile side, but it's not perfect, believe me. They have their fair share of mistakes, like I mentioned, like the increase of prices, as well as the changes they made to some fighters, which was holy shit, you know? A final word of caution. Don't blindly trust either corporation. If you liked HBS or if you liked Autumn, believe me, they both had their fair share of bad apples or hell controversial changes. But sure, we're getting good changes, but let's not forget the game's turbulent history. It feels like this IP is cursed with internal drama. Like, remember the whole Mike Z fiasco and the censorship that came with it too? Like, this game is getting its teeth kicked in, and we are to stand in the middle watching it all happen. Like, all we could do is hope for the better, and a lot of people want to see good change and not change that will massively affect the game they've been playing for like 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. Do I think the game has another year? Honestly, I have no clue. For Autumn to recover its reputation, it needs consistent, honest, and transparent communication with not only its community, but its former and current employees as well. I'll end this on a personal note. I've met so many amazing people through this game. It's wild to me that I managed to rise as a somewhat underground but known figure in the community. I'm recognized as that guy with the dolly addiction, or like the guy with fucking mental health problems that plays prize fights to the moon. But I'm truly grateful for that shit. Like, I even got Discord messages asking me when is the next interview or who's the next person on the podcast, which makes me grateful. I even began said project for Skullgirls Mobile. Like, I'm surprised, like, that was just like a kind of fun kind of deal, like I was gonna do for a good while and then maybe stop, but more people want to see more of it, so I'm like, I don't want to disappoint, so I'm gonna keep going with that. I'm sorry I haven't been posting much. The interview series isn't dead, I promise. I also have 2 more videos planned, a Geometry Dash video. There is also another interview coming up, but this is not really an interview, this is more like a skit. So I hope you guys have fun with that. And the third and also long-awaited Black Dahlia guide. It's gonna take a hot minute, but please bear with me. At least one of them will drop before the end of the year, so stay tuned. Wait. I did reach out to many others as well, so here's the many opinions of others I contacted. If you guys want to check those out, what their 2 cents are, you can check those out. Here's like the many screenshots I'm gonna be sliding through. But yeah, until next time, you guys take care now. Good night. Me personally, I'm kind of in a limbo state right now. I don't know where the game is going or how long it will last, and I'm accepting that these things are happening regardless of my wishes. So I'm just taking it as it comes and sticking with the community for as long as I can. As long as they don't start fucking up second Encore, I'll be alright. So far, we got not so many big changes. There are a few bangers, but also big misses. Pity system is the best update we got since forever. So many players came back, so many active players got what they wanted, absolutely no downsides to it. But changes like the Cabinet of Curiosities update and Theonite to Coins nerf are complete misses. Both nerfs to progression for no reason. While Cabinet update tried to do something new, it felt like the people that were actually making the change didn't play the game and don't realize what Cabinet is used for. 8 hours is fucking ridiculous. I'm looking forward to the new changes, mainly guilds and new game modes. The game has been lacking those for a while, and the dev team promises exactly that. I don't know, to be honest, Autumn added a lot of quality of life changes that should have been there right after their takeover. It makes me look at them a bit more favorably, but with these new variants they're releasing, only the Rumble Fortune looks good. That's about my only concern. They seem to have an issue making new variants that just don't blow ass. And that's a perspective of someone who's massively casual. So regarding my opinion on the state of the game right now, I'd say I've been fairly satisfied with many of the recent changes, most notably the relic pity system. Although it's been only a few months since the HBS incident, it appears that greatly quality of life improvements will be implemented and player feedback will be strongly considered. Truly only time will tell, but the fortune of SGM looks promising from my point of view. I think what I miss the most is the old vibe Skullgirls had before the takeover. Now it seems like they're trying to emulate the kind of vibe it had, but it personally, in my opinion, doesn't quite land for me. And I also think some of the in-app purchases are quite pricey. I am quite looking forward to the guilds as an answer to their takeover, to be honest. Double's opinion is pretty much the same as mine. The overall vibe is different and he's quite even scared of their takeover, especially in the upcoming story content. Skullgirls Mobile was a promising and refreshing take on the card collector genre of fighting/gacha games that we've seen during the mid-2010s era of mobile gaming. And as someone who's been playing since 2018, I have to say the game is in a great state, maybe the best it's ever been. The game had a slow but steady progress during the 2018-2020 era, with gradual character releases, content updates and whatnot. Then something evil must have happened at HQ because the game became atrociously stale and unfun. And once the battle passes came out, starting with Blue Streak and Red Rider, every month was a drag until a lot of people within my inner circle simply decided to quit. The game just wasn't doing it for a while, and eventually they snapped. It only got worse from there, but eventually Autumn Games pulled a mega mind and said more like under new management, and did what HBS was being begged to do for several years in the span of a few months. The unfortunate reality of battle passes being mostly unchanged still remains true, but that is a small price to pay for the heaps of quality of life changes, variant tweaks, and overall betterment of the game that Autumn have given. I am very pleased with the state of SGM, even though it's a shift in the identity over the years. One thing stayed true though, all these years, and I can't fucking speak, man. I'm reading so much. Okay, hold on. One thing stayed true though, all these years, and it's that combat is responsive, clean, and tight. I'm glad to be back after a hiatus caused by hidden variable, and I'm excited to see the future this game has now that Autumn Games are taking over. Personally, despite the fact that other devs promised and delivered little, it left the game at a point where it wasn't making much progress, but it wasn't going backwards either. While these were changes some of us wanted, they weren't implemented in the best way possible. I know I sound like a broken record, but the canopy issue has been going on for a long time, and Autumn doesn't seem interested in fixing it either. If the alliances promise a lot as advertised, I hope at least the game mode offers plenty of rewards. It's all about alliances after all. We really need a lot of canopy, and no dev seems to understand that if they give us a lot of it, the game won't stop monetizing, as many claim. After all, it takes time to get good stats, and we could find other uses for the canopy, for some game modes or new features they want to add. But we're already starting with the first mistake, I think. I don't know if I'm missing something, but the cabinet refreshing every 4 hours is another example of I'm not playing my game. But at the same time, they're doing things right. They've been more active with their community, and I think they added an animation to the new peacock. I don't know if it was beta or I'm confusing them, but that gives them extra points. I don't think this is an opinion but more of an analysis, but answering directly, I feel like they're making progress and doing a decent job. They have to do things right with alliances, or we'll go back to the same place where we don't know if we're playing just for the sake of playing, or because we enjoy what the game gives us. And for the same reason, since the game has little to offer, many people drop out, or sometimes not even that. They can't improve their account much for reasons I already mentioned, and they leave without even having to tap into that potential of what they like, you know. Well, for one, they have done a far better job than HBS. We get buffs to variants pretty much every month, HBS only did that once or twice a year if we were lucky. They are also buffing up fighter kits and now we'll have a guild beta test. With all that said, it has a fair share of bad things too. They kinda listen to the wrong people sometimes when it comes to the game. The only top player they listen to is Denny, and that's a bit of a problem because he can't be shaping up one game mode by himself. The changes are bad. They also raise the prices of everything for no apparent reason, while also making dumb changes like the cabinet one. But overall, they seem to be going mostly the right way. I've been unironically keeping up steadily even while not playing. I think they are having an ups and downs kind of spiller. The beginning wasn't great when they first took control. The middle and the present is good, but so was HBS before. They used to do a lot more every update. I think it's only a matter of time before Autumn runs out of juice. Though I do condemn their ability to engage with the community on such a large scale though. I think that they could also be their downfall, don't get me wrong. Engaging with your player base is incredible, but I think too many of their decisions are being decided by players, which you think would be a good thing, but if the company itself can't find its own decisions, how are they supposed to manage the game? That being said, they've been doing a good job so far. Going back on the many things people didn't like inconsistent balance changes, but there are things that they're missing, i.e. balancing of the guest stars and other things of that sort. But I'm semi-confident that they'll be able to tackle it. I'm very neutral about the soon-to-come guilds, with it being such a hyped feature. Developed for years, I highly doubt a new studio with the history of HBS would be able to do it right. Unless they do it too generously and ends up ruining the entire game's economy. That being said, I'm not sure how the closed beta will be or / is, so maybe I'll be wrong, but I definitely think they're on a good track. They just really hate settling lawsuits, I guess, but yeah, I think SGM is in better hands. You really feel the loss of motivation from HBS in the last years. They did the bare minimum every update, and we really just ate that up. But I think Autumn could still use more polish, but that will come with time. Yahoo. Since Kevin couldn't make it to the recording booth, I decided to take over for him for the meantime. Fuck it. I'm too lazy to record. That means I already spent most of my time on Silksong. I gotta play that game too sometime. Anyway, to be honest, I have a mixed feelings on the whole situation. On one hand, they've been adding decent shit like the pity system, some character / variant adjustments, and so on. I don't give a shit about guest stars or new variants. Really, if I came back was because the gameplay remained still as solid as I recalled, and the other phone games didn't feel the same itch. However, with that whole $1.2 million lawsuit mumbo jumbo, it's still a very awkward situation. A major elephant in the room that's usually not as stressed as often as before, because interest has died down due to the speed of lawsuits being slow as it is. Shit. One could consider all the goodwill they are farming on SGM is precisely to pay off the debt should it not fall in their favor. It's a complicated case, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't give less of a fuck anymore. By this point, I'm just a casual, in quotation marks, 200 plus diamonds Lamau player, and nothing else. Is there anything the game can do to gather public's interest once again? Like a new feature mode or whatever? Probably not. The most important changes for me are guest stars and the pity system. For guest stars, I think so far they're only stat sticks for me because I don't find them that great for their actual abilities. Also, I find so weird that the AI can hit you with their guest star even if you're hitting them. In my opinion, if they're being hit before the guest star hits, it should go away. Also, they're way too expensive for what they actually do. Sure, the extra stats are nice, but the amount of coins it takes to upgrade them is insane. And the fact you can only fix them with gold retakes makes it even worse. For the pity system, I got no complaints. It's actually long overdue that we had a change like this because it was awful waiting for 1 to 2 weeks for a diamond only to get a dupe again. I'm looking for the guilds because we really do need a new game mode. Even with these changes, the games become stale after a while for me, so let's see what happens. So just some quick thoughts on Autumn's takeover versus HBS. Let's just objectively judge what HBS did in the last 4 years by the major features they put out. Umbrella, Dahlia, Marie, guest stars, parallel realms, movesets, replays, and they're broken. I'm not going to count this stupid shit like making new variants every month. That's a pretty low effort, cheap way of making content, if you ask me. The lawsuit said 1.2 million for 4 months of unpaid work, so that means HBS earned 3 million a year to work on SGM. I think it's pretty shit our return of investment on 3 million a year in terms of game development. Think about how many developers, even in the US, that you can hire for 3 million a year. Instead, it feels like HBS was jerking off the job, especially towards the end, putting out stupid shit like avatars and tier lists. For Autumn's takeover, it has been around half a year. Let's see what they do with guilds. They're still playing the low effort content card by selling new monthly variants, but I think HBS set a pretty low bar. If Autumn can ship guilds as promised this year and they're good, and they did it taking over the codebase with no help from HBS, that will be pretty impressive. I mean, I think of small indie studios that have put out incredible shit with just 2 or 3 guys working on it. Hollow Knight, Team Cherry, or Behemoth, Castle Crashers. I'm just not as impressed with what HBS did with this much time on the game. Oh my god, Grayson, like, I went over this with you, dog, like, it didn't have to be lengthy. Okay, fuck it, since I added you, I'm gonna fucking commit. In my honest opinion, I think Autumn's takeover as a whole has been the equivalent of seeing a loved one put on life support after being ran over, but the person that's currently taking care of them is the one that ran them over in the first place. I'm not gonna get into the weeds of the whole lawsuit debate, or was this a debacle, seeing as I believe that the group of people that started that issue and the ones that we see and talk to about future projects for the game are 2 completely different groups of people within the same company. However, I will say that as much as faith as I want to have in SGM current development team, they haven't completely gained that trust from me yet. I'm afraid it's been nearly half a year since, and only recently have I felt that we've stopped writing the last few bits of planned content HBS had as opposed to new content and ideas made from Autumn themselves. The Summer of Slime event as an example. I know I personally refuse to try to judge too harshly until I see what they're fully capable of with guilds, since we've only really gotten minor patches and updates to compare. But even still, the fact that they no longer have HBS and their entire staff with years of experience in development plans for SGM, no longer have Future Club for any development work for 2E, it's been radio silent for almost a year despite plans to add BA to new cutscenes and complete the JP BA2, but also lost any ounce of previous staff that did the literal art and animations for both games. There's literally nobody from the original project currently working on the game anymore. It's kinda crazy to think about. No Persona, no Mariel, no Liam, no Celsai, no nothing. It's hard to believe in something when you don't even have a single ounce of staff left from the previous updates. Even more so when it's apparent. I'll never forget those first few months where we get really awkward promo posts from official accounts with jank editing and poorly done Photoshop images. It just feels kinda hopeless in a way to see this game in the state it's in, Skullgirls, especially 2E, means something to me, man. It was one of the first fighting games I saw that really got me into playing them and wanting to learn how to get better at them. The world, the story, the art, and the style. It all just felt so unique and different. It captivated me, man, and what I would give to have that first time feeling again. I don't want to be a doomer and say that the game's cooked and Autumn can't turn it around. They absolutely can, but they have to work for it. They need to have the same passion and dedication not only the original developers had, but also that the community has had all this time from the start to the end. They have been the ones who have supported and helped the game grow to where it is today, and the number of times that they deserve more than for this game to go out the way it currently is now. They are a big reason why I still continue to hang out and play with SGM at the moment. The community back in the day used to be just as integral to the Skullgirls DNA as the artists and developers were. Inside jokes and references would get added or made part of the actual game. I mean, Beowulf's BA Kai is one of the biggest examples of that. And while I'm not expecting that level of community integration from Autumn, I definitely appreciate what they have done so far in terms of reaching out and talking to the community members, as well as helping with community contests, giveaways, and such. It's apparent that they want to make an effort in that regard, although I can't help that a little part of me feels like it's because they want to cater to what little left of an audience they have. To wrap up, literally never expected to sit here for this long typing all this out. I don't know if what I put here would be considered too harsh or not harsh enough depending on personal preferences. It's just that Skullgirls as a whole means something to me, as it does for a lot of people. And I just hope it means just as much as to Autumn too. They say they do and tell us their plans for the future. But as you know, actions speak louder than words, and I'm willing to wait to see those words put into action.